Is there one mistake you wish you would have avoided?
Just one.
It has to be an ongoing, never-ending improvement.
I used to admire talents. Now I admire careers.
She comes to me, this wedding planner, bless her, and she says, Anna, are you crazy?
Okay, I'm gonna give you a statistic that's gonna blow your mind.
Basically, 85% of success happens not because you're a good photographer. Confusing.
We are Anna Roussos and Thanos Asfis.
Wedding photographers with over 2 decades of experience capturing wedding affairs around the world.
Recognized by leading publications as among the top wedding photographers globally,
We're here to share the business and technical tips, the artistry behind our work,
and a few funny stories we've gathered along the way.
Today, we're gonna speak about the hard lessons you can skip if you think strategically from the start. What are the most common mistakes photographers do the first 5 years of their career?
But before we dive in, allow me to ask you to subscribe to our channel if you like what we're doing. Leave a comment. Your feedback is very precious to us. Thanos, is there one mistake that you've done you wish you would have avoided when you were starting?
Yes. Just one?
Okay, but name top 3.
You know, the one thing that happens is most photographers, they become photographers because they love the medium. They love to take photos. So when you make your passion your business, most of the times you don't think business-wise. So I would say that the most terrible, I would say, okay, the mistake that I did and I would like to change if possible, if I could go back in time, is when I started my business, I would like to think more about the business part. I was photographing to impress myself. I was photographing to impress my colleagues, to impress other photographers. And the main thing that I was caring for is how to become a better photographer. And I didn't realize that I have to learn as much about photography and also about how to run the business of photography.
And honestly, I don't even know which one is more important.
Yeah?
Because you can, of course, improve to a certain level when it comes to your technicality. Like, there is a ceiling there, let's say. Like, okay, you get better, you get better, you get better. But when it comes to business, it has to be an ongoing, never-ending improvement to have strategy, to have business plan, to stay relevant, because talent without business thinking, I mean, nobody's gonna know or hear about you if you don't have a business and strategical approach. And it's totally true. Like, okay, I started thinking about that, but not right away. But I think good for me early enough. And it came mostly from looking at analyzing, I would say, the careers of other photographers. So I had some photographers in wedding industry that I admired, and I was trying just to break down like why they're doing this and what steps they went through as a business, as a mindset. Because these things, if you have a strategical approach from early on, this can be a shortcut to success in a way.
Yeah, in the beginning of my career, I used to admire talents. I used to admire photos. Now I admire careers. I
absolutely
admire
agree.
photographers that they have managed to become a name in their industry. They have got a big chunk of the market. They belong to the star system of the market. And I think that this is even more interesting as a case study. And as I like to say, even many things in basketball, for instance, if you're above a certain height, you can play basketball. If you're both 2 meters, you can play basketball. But then it's not about the height, it's about how good you are in other things.
Yeah.
And the same goes for photography. You reach a point that you're good enough. And from this point on, it doesn't really matter, not because nobody will notice, but people will be more interested about your business.
Well, most of the photographers, we didn't have a business education. Like I studied TV and cinema directing. I know you studied photography, actually. Most of the photographers that I know, they know whatever they know about business. It comes from self-education, not from the university or a degree that they have. And in opposite, there are some photographers that I know who come from a business background and then they went into photography on earlier stages. Let's say they were marketing specialists for big firms. And there is like one photographer, for example, internationally well known, who has a business background. And this mindset helped him to skyrocket in the wedding industry within a very short span of time. So this is something that most of the younger photographers just don't grasp. It takes time to understand how important it is.
Okay, I'm gonna give you a statistic that's gonna blow your mind. Did you know that 95 of the newcomers in the photography business, they close their business after 2 years?
95%?
95.
That sounds like
It's
crazy
crazy.
a lot. Are you sure?
I'm sure about it. I mean, I know the statistics in Greece. In Greece right now, we're 15,000 photographers.
Sounds like crazy a lot for such a small country. It's like there's how many photographers per capita?
Yeah.
We probably win.
I don't know. I mean, we're a lot, but I don't know if we're more than other countries. Even more crazy statistic is that every year, do you know how many photographers they enter the market?
No.
15,000.
So we multiply like into progression.
Yeah, but most of them, they don't make it. Most of them, they don't manage to get a share of the market to survive.
Yeah, because they don't niche.
Yeah.
This is one of the important part of strategical thinking, that you don't even, I guess, if you were not lucky enough to end up in a workshop, or you were not curious enough to study about it and learn about marketing, about niching and positioning and creating a brand, you will hear about it or understand that you're doing something wrong way later in your career. And this paradox, like for me, in the first years of my career, it was like my mistake. It was very hard to say no. I would say yes to every photo shoot that would come my way, and it would make me so excited. And of course, it makes sense, but also you don't have to show everything that you photograph. It's very important to position yourself early enough in the correct way, because in the long term, it can just derail or slow down your journey.
Like you said, in the beginning, you say yes to everything. And not only that, but you don't know how to price your photography. And one of the presentations I do when the few times that I had the opportunity to speak to schools of photography or the Greek University of Photography, I talk to the kids that are about to become photographers about what it means to run a photography business by explaining first what is the cost of running a business. Most of the photographers, especially when they're wedding photographers, they think, oh my God, I booked this wedding and it charges 500 euros. And what's the minimum wage in Greece? It's about this amount. It's a bit, just a bit more. Yeah. So basically, I made in one day what
this
people
is
make
like,
in a month.
yeah.
And I think
totally
that,
wrong way.
yeah, this is crazy. This is amazing. They don't realize how much they need to earn in order to sustain this business and have a salary in order to be able to survive.
Yes, yeah. They
So-
count basically just one day. They put an equation, but nothing else. Not the electricity, not the rent, not their working time, and so on.
Yeah, just to have an idea, when you try to realize how much your wedding should cost, your service of photographing a wedding, you should put down everything: your electricity, your every bill, like the gas for your car, and the rent of your office, how much you need to buy and also maintain your gear, and how much you pay for someone else that works for you.
Yeah,
maybe.
there are so many things to take into the account that slowly but steadily will make you say, I undercharge.
Yes.
That
And
will be
then
the bottom line.
once you figure out all your expenses, then you must say, okay, how much do I need to survive? Do I need 1,000? Do I need 2,000 per month? You have to figure out this number and then say, my work should cover all the expenses plus my salary, and then you must also answer the other question that's critical: how many weddings can I book? Can I book like 10 weddings, or is it a realistic number? Can I book 50 weddings?
Yes, and how many weddings you can actually
Physically do.
and perform? Another important question, because that's what I like. So many photographers I hear, especially at the beginning of their career. Of course, it makes sense. You go for quantity, you want to build portfolio, but also you have to be careful because it can be such a downfall towards a burnout and a very quick one. I mean, if someone does 100 weddings, I've heard that numbers per year, how many years you can sustain that crazy schedule, because this is just insane amount of weddings. Physically, it's impossible to do.
Yeah, it's not sustainable, and this goes for every profession. The moment you realize that, oh, I have to do all the other things that have nothing to do with the reason I became photographer. I became photographer because I like to take photos,
Yes.
I like to create. And then you understand that this is a very small part of your day. And most of the day you are doing the accountant, you're doing the PR person, you're doing, SEO specialist, everything that you need to do to run the business. So it's not being, it's
Yeah,
not
so
so
it can
fun.
become very overwhelming very quick. I remembered one mistake I used to do, but thanks God, there was this wedding planner in Santorini that told me that I'm crazy and I should immediately remove it from my offer. So I think it was the first year of my full season as a wedding photographer. And I was eager to book more to build portfolio. I had this mindset. And in my offer for wedding coverage, I was literally writing unlimited hours.
Forever.
So until, thanks God, she comes to me, this wedding planner, bless her, and she says, Anna, are you crazy? I mean, what does it mean? I just saw your contact. What does it mean? We can have you forever.
Yes, for the rest of their lives, you're going to photograph them.
Are you going to stay until 5 in the morning? So if they ask you to stay in the morning, will you stay? Because in your contract, you say unlimited. I mean, I realized that way that instead of actually trying to look attractive to book, it was just ridiculous. It's disrespectful to my own art and effort that I put when it comes working for couples. It's actually, it sounds like a joke. Very quickly, I switched to a very limited number of hours, and I explained to couples that if we need more hours, it has extra cost. And it was met with so much respect because obviously I showcased that my work has value.
Another thing that we see a lot is photographers nowadays, they want to do everything really fast. And it's not just photographers, the social media give this impression that all photographers are successful and they showcase a lifestyle. And then the instant gratification that we have nowadays, that we order something, the next day it happens, it comes to our house, even the same day sometimes. So people want to have success now. Maybe you should invest a year or two to become an assistant to a successful photographer and learn how the business is run.
That's actually, I think, the best path to go because, like in any other profession, one thing is to learn thing at the university or starting business yourself without having any experience of being entrepreneur and running a business, or going to someone who works in this industry and already reached success, and just try to absorb as much as you can and understand and break down, and you will be able to see firsthand what this person does and how he does it. This is the best school you could go through in order to actually create this sort of a shortcut and learn as much as possible to apply it to your own business afterwards.
Yes, and it's not about photography again. You will understand how this person communicates, what is the pricing model, what chores you have to do all day in order to maintain the business, how important is social media for the business, how important is the site for the business. So everything is going to be there, and you're going to see how much time and effort you're going to need to put to every aspect in order to have a successful business.
So I know we said it already many times, but just to solidify this thought, there was a study that was performed by Harvard University, and they actually came up with this data, the statistic that 85% of success happens because of soft skills and not because of hard skills. So if we break it down to the photography business, basically 85% of success happens not because you're a good photographer. It happens because you are good business entrepreneur, you're good at marketing, you can be good at in certain search engine optimization, you can, and you are good and 100 million other things besides being a good photographer. And I think it's just an incredible statistic which should push us even more to develop our soft skills. And you don't need to be like perfect at many different skills, but let's say you know that you can say about yourself that you're a very communicative person. You can easily start like find a common language with another person. So train the soft skill even more, because you can be great at PR, and PR is very important in our industry like in any other. Or let's say maybe your soft skill is you feeling so comfortable talking on camera, so you start recording podcasts or Instagram reels and talking on the camera and showing your expertise, showcasing yourself out there to the rest of the world, which is many people from our industry actually are not good and don't like doing. So it's really nice way to differentiate and stand out.
Yeah, find your soft skills, list them, and see what can help you develop your business more. What can be the one thing that will differentiate you from the rest?
I mean, it can be something, well, not ridiculous, but let's say you're a fashionista and you love outfits, you love fashion, and maybe you will be that one photographer that everyone talks about, that because besides, of course, being a good photographer, this guy dresses up extraordinary for every single event, and everyone talks about him because of this, and it will be word of mouth. The wedding planner will say to someone, we had Thanos at our wedding and he was again dressed up in this exquisite attire.
Believe it or not, it was one of the first things that made me separate from the rest.
Oh baby, I know. If there is a diva in our relationship, it's not me.
But okay, also in the early stages of my career that I didn't know how to dress up that nicely, still I had the idea that I should try to dress at least as a guest, with what I knew, with what I could do. And not only that, but because I was working back then with a specific assistant and one more videographer, we were a team, I went to Zara, I bought for them clothes. And I told them, you know what, you're gonna wear these clothes every time we work together. And back then, we're talking many years ago, every photographer, they used to work like with wearing the photographer's jacket, you know.
Yeah, with many pockets.
With many pockets,
yes,
and
yes.
Sports shoes. And so just by seeing us being dressed more properly for this event, it was like...
Yeah, okay, we're shifting away from the topic, but I have to say that this is like a very sensitive topic for photography community for some reason. I believe that the way we appear and the way we dress up, the way we come to the event, and the image that we create by the way we dress up is so important. We have heard, just because of our presence and the way we're dressed, guests coming to us and say, "Oh my God, you're an incredible photographer." And I always laugh. It's like, why do you say that?
Yeah, they haven't
But
seen
they haven't
anything.
seen the photos. They haven't seen anything. They've met you for the first time. Deep inside, I know it's because of our presence, of the way we're dressed, of the way we move, because it all goes together. And it still makes impression even on the wedding planners, even in our segment of luxury wedding photography. We hear very often from vendors, from planners, that, "Whoa, guys, you're so nicely dressed." So this is a mistake many beginner photographers do. They underestimate the power of a nice
Presence,
outfit.
yes,
Yes,
an
a
outfit.
nice presence.
Let's move on. What about the trends? I think that one a common mistake that I see is that newcomers in the business, they jump from one trend to the other,
Yes.
and they try to be relevant that way without investing to create their own style. And by saying investing to create their own style, I don't mean that trends are not important, but you have to realize that you cannot change your brand basically and your style every other
wedding.
weekend.
Yes, yes.
You should find something that works and keep it for a while. And when you want to make a change,
It has to be gradual.
slowly.
Yes.
That's it.
Yes, I see that a lot. I think it's exactly fear of missing out, trying to stay relevant. But one of the most important thing that turns a potential client in a client is the moment that, not even in a client, the potential client in an inquiry email is when they look at your portfolio, they look at your site, and they feel like they know what to expect from you. So it's a very common scenario where the bride might see an image that she loves, and then she starts scrolling through the Instagram feed, and there are other colors, different moods, something that absolutely opposite from the first photo that she fell in love with. And this is the moment where she says, "No, I'm not going to contact this person because I don't know what to expect from this person."
Yeah, and a lot of photographers, what they do is they see something that they like, they try to copy these images and put them in their portfolio. And then you see their Instagram or their site, and one image is with one lens and very close up. The other image is with another lens and very far away. And then the next image is with this kind of lighting. The other image is with another kind of lighting.
Yeah.
And again, the editing also changes. And at the end, although each one of the images might be nice, each one,
Altogether, it just paints a bad picture
chaos.
about you, because there is no consistency.
they don't know, the clients don't know what they expect. There is one saying that from a famous photographer that she has studios in New York, and she has multiple studios. She makes great money out of them. Like she makes about $7,000 per week from each studio. And but she does a very specific thing. She creates portraits for women, and a lot of your clients are women that are 30 and above, and they want to portray themselves in a natural but beautiful way. So she uses natural light a lot and things like that. Anyway, she was asked at some point, aren't you bored to do the same thing
yeah.
again and again in every photo shoot? And she said, of course I am bored. And when I'm bored, I close the business for a month. I go to Hawaii. I have a great time. And then I come back recharged.
Yes, or exactly. Or if you're bored, find a creative project on the side. You don't have to mix business and your artistic flow, that I want to do something different. I think everyone wants to do something different and express yourself artistically, but you don't have to do it through wedding photography. You can just
if you
have
don't have a specific
project.
product or a specific service, how can you market it? How can you brand it?
Yeah.
How can you price it? It creates so many problems.
Yes, I think this is another biggest mistake that most of beginner photographers do, is that if you try to please everyone out there, at the end, you're going to please no one. So you have to niche. And I think that would be the biggest advice that I would give to someone who starts. Learn about marketing, learn about business strategies, even some basic things just to understand and take some steps as early as possible that will help you to create really solid foundation and thinking, long term will bring you success.
Yeah, and about niching that you said, it's something that I see a lot of times, like you said, people trying to please everyone. Think about it like that. If you're too generic and you want to be good, you want to be great, you have to climb the highest mountain in the world, right? But if you niche, if you find a specific place of the market that you want to conquer, then you just have to climb the biggest hill on
In
this
this
area.
area, I love that. Yes.
So it's much easier to understand your decisions. It's much easier to, for instance, understand what your CEO should be, SEO
Yes,
should be
yeah.
about.
Actually, many things become less
Yes.
problematic if you niche.
You know what you showcase in your site. Everything becomes more clear, more easier decisions. You know where you're heading.
So that's the homework for the ones who are interested in avoiding mistakes that might happen in the first 5 years of your career. Thank you for being with us. Do not forget to leave a comment. You can ask us questions, suggest a topic for the next episode, and we're gonna be eagerly waiting for your comments.
And as always, for the closing, I'm going to share a quote, this time from Abraham Lincoln. The best way to predict the future is to create it.
Bad.